Hello everyone, and welcome to this component overview for Dark Souls the board game's basic treasure deck. This is the 60 card deck that makes that you include in every start of game before adding in the character cards. I will be giving a general component overview of each of the cards in each of their categories, which you can jump to each of them by this time code key. Also, before I get started, a quick opinion of this deck. Um, Honestly, I'm gonna get right to it, right to the negative here. I think this deck is the biggest flaw in the game. The 60 cards within it, and you only need like maybe 3 to 12 out of here, depending on how many characters you have. Gets kind of annoying fishing through it on top of the other cards, which may or may not help you. I think the stat requirements for this specific deck, the cards in this specific deck, are way too high, and I'm in the opinion you should be able to equip most of these by tier 1 and maybe one tier 2 stat upgrade, regardless of what class you're playing, assuming that piece of gear is more associated to that class. Like, the Faith items should easily be able to be equipped by the Herald. Not all of them are. Um, Most of the items in here are kind of like they make sense to be in this deck, but their stats are a little bit too high. Also, the add-ons and the gems are a little also kind of meh, but I'm glad that they're there. I just think that this deck could use a bit of an improvement, but there are some individual cards in here that are worth getting, and it does, make for that feeling of here's the fodder in the way. Regardless of my opinion and of the overall thing, here's now my opinion of the individuals. So first, we're starting off with the one-handed weapons, which there are 11 of. And to begin with is the Brigadon's Axe, with a 19 strength and a 16 intelligence. It has a 2 black dice, and for 3 stamina, a 1 black and a 1 blue for offense. It also has 1 upgrade slot. The surprising part about it is the 1 magic defense. Next, we have fire bombs. What were use items in the game qualify as normal weapons, just as much as the spells will. For 4, with an intelligence and a faith of 15 requirement and a 1 range. Notice it does not have a 0 range not doable, so you can use it in melee. But it is a 4 stamina cost for a 3 black die with a push, AoE, and magic damage. Seems really interesting. I could see some situations where this could be really nice, especially if you get things to group up. And then the other use item that exists as a weapon in the treasure deck is the kukris, which I've seen work very well if you're dual wielding this with another weapon, because of the 15 dexterity and the 1 range. If you use this as your first attack, and it will apply bleed automatically, and then if you hit damage with the second attack, it will trigger the bleed. Next up, we have Morningstar, which has the 16 strength and the 19 faith, and goes straight into blue dice immediately with a 1 or 2 blue die for a 3 stamina. And then, just like the Brigadon's Axe, has a 1 magic resist and a 1 armor. I think this is far better than the Brigadon's Axe. The next up is the Murakamu, with a 27 dexterity, meaning that the Knight and the Assassins are the only ones that can use it by tier 2, and a 17 intelligence. With a 1 black and 3 black for 3 stamina, it can be a nice offensive. It can be an okay offensive weapon, but the benefit here is the 1 dodge. It also has a 1 upgrade slot. Next up is the Rapier, taking 21 dexterity and intelligence. Has a black die for 0 with a +1, or 2 blue dice for the 3. I don't know if that's really too much of an improvement. I know statistically it can be, but will be, that's a different story. It's nice to not have the blanks, though. Has a 1 physical defense for black, and 1 arm upgrade. Next is the Reinforced Club, which has a 23 strength and a 16 faith, making it so that the warrior can use it very early on at a tier 1 of both. It also has a blue, 1 blue for 0 and 2 blue for 3 on the offense, but has no defensive stats, but has an upgrade 8 slots of 2. The Scimitar is a very nice item. I have seen this put to use many times already, as it has a 20 dexterity and a 18 intelligence requirement, making it so that the assassin can use it at both of these with tier 1, and many of the other characters can use it at tier 2 in each. It has 2 blacks for 0, but has one of the better higher stamina bonuses I've seen in the game, with the 2 orange -1, which generally pays out a lot of times. Only has 1 upgrade slot though. The short sword is basically a slightly better version of the long sword, or a slightly different version of the long sword. With the 2 blacks for 0, and the 3 blacks for 2, it's a very nice low stamina cost upgrade, and works very well with the strength of 15 and dex 23 requirement. The dex 23 requirement, though, does make it so that no one can use it any earlier than a tier 2 in dexterity, not even the assassin, who is 1 point short. It has 1 upgrade slot. The Silver Knight Sword has a 20 requirement across the board, meaning no one can use it in tier 1, but anyone can use it in tier 2 with all those stats. It has a 2 black for 0 and a 1 black and a 1 blue for 3. It has 2 upgrade slots and the 1 dodge. The 1 dodge does make this better than a lot of the other weapons with similar attack, but otherwise it wouldn't be that good. And then last, we have the Thrall Axe, having only a 16 in both strength and dexterity. It is a 2 black for 0 and a 1 black and 1 blue for 3. 2 upgrade slots make this very nice. Next up, we have the Two-Handed Weapons, which there are 7 of. First up, we have the Claymore, with a 1 range, 36 strength, and 26 dexterity requirement. For 1 stamina, it's 2 blue plus 1. For 4, it's 2 orange plus 1. As well as also having a +1 physical resist and 1 upgrade slot. This is a very nice offensive weapon, although without something to help manage your stamina, you'll probably just exhaust yourself. We have the Great Mace next, with the 21 strength and 28 faith, making it so that this can be a very nice weapon. And for the Herald, everybody else needs to get to tier 3 in order to be able to use this in faith, while the Herald can use it at both tier 2 strength and faith. With its blue +1 for 0, and its 2 blue +1 for 3, and a defense in both in both physical and magic, it's very nice on top of the 2 upgrade slots. Next, we have the Great Axe, with a 32 strength requirement and a 22 dexterity. The warrior is the only one that can use this, will have their strength high enough at a tier 2. Their dex will also be high enough, and the rest can use it by a tier 3, so it's not bad with a lot of this stuff. But 2 blue dice for 0, 2 orange for 3, and also for 3 you have the option of 2 blue dice and hit everything in the node. Note it has a 0 range, so it's the same issue as the Berserk charge from the warrior. But it also has a blue defense die in physical, and 2 upgrade slots. Next is the Halberd, a range of 1, but also cannot be used at range 0 weapon. With an 18 strength and a 31 faith, it is very good for the Herald. It has, for 1, you get 1 blue die and a +1, and for 4, 2 blue die and a +1. I don't really think that the 4 for an extra blue die is really worth it, unless you really need it. But then it has the blue die for physical defense, as well as also 2 upgrade slots. Next, we have the Sorcerer's Staff. The Sorcerer's Staff is a reach of 1 onto itself, then a strength of 15 and a magic requirement of 30. For 0, you'll gain 1 blue die for offense. At 3, you can either gain 2 blue dice or with a range of 3, 1 orange, and magical. It also adds a blue die resistance, a dodge, and 2 upgrade slots. Next, we have the Wing Spear, which is also a range 1, but again, just like the Halberd, cannot attack at range 0, with a 20 strength requirement and a 22 faith. For 0, you can get 1 black plus 1, and for 3, you can get 2 black plus 1. This offers both the defense die in magic and resist of black, as well as 2 upgrade slots. And finally, we have the Twohanded, with a reach of 1 and a 35 strength with a 22 dex requirement. This has a very high stamina requirement for usage at a stamina of 2 just for the basic attack of 1 black die and 2 blue. And then for 5, you can change that 2 blue to 2 orange. It also provides 1 physical defense black and 2 upgrade slots. Now, on to the last weapons. The spells. We have 8 of these. Now, I just want to point out real quick, before getting into the specific cards, none of these have any any defense dice, any dodge, or any upgrade slots. So, first off, we have Fireball, with an Intelligence 23 requirement, doing 2 black dice for damage, and magic, or for 5, 2 orange, magic, and hit everything in the node, at a range of 2. Then we have Force, at also a range of 2, only a intelligence of 12 required, meaning that anybody can use it by tier 1. For 0, it pushes back for her 1, and for 2, it pushes back 2. Next, we have Great Magic Weapon. Now, the Great Magic Weapon has no range at all, because this isn't an offensive spell. It has a requirement of 12 in both Int and Faith. And for 0, you can make your attack magic, and for 2, you can make your attack for magic and plus 1 damage. Next up, we have Heal. At a range of 3 with a 23 faith requirement, you can either for 0 stamina have 1 character regain stamina and health of 1, and at 3 stamina, 1 character within range gains 4 health. Next up, at a range of 3, we have Heal Aid. Oh yeah. 13 faith is required at 0 stamina. 1 character within range gains 1 stamina and 1 health. So it's a lesser version of Heal, but also a very low faith requirement, making it so that, again, any of the characters can use it at a tier 1, but the Herald can use it at a base. Then we have Poison Mist at a range of 1, and with a 11 dexterity and a 16 intelligence required. You can for 1 stamina poison something, and for 3 poison every enemy in the node. Remember, poison is every so often. Do 1 damage. Next up, we have Soul Arrow. Soul Arrow is a range 3 with a 16 int requirement, and for 0, you can do 2 black dice, magic damage, or for the 4 stamina, make it 3 black dice, right, with magic damage. I don't recommend ever using the second attack on this. Soul Stream is the big nuke in the game, at least out of the base treasures. At only a range of 1, to begin with a 22 int requirement, you can either for 0 hit everything in the node with magic. For a black die, a blue die with 2 stamina and a range of 2, and an orange die with a range of 3 at 4 stamina. Now on to the first set of defensive items. We have Armor. There are 11 of these. And to begin with, we have the Black Armor, with a Intelligence and Dex requirement of 20. This provides 1 blue physical, 1 black magical, a dodge, and 2 armor upgrades. This is right up the assassin's line. Then we have the Court Sorcerer Robes, which also fits very well for the assassin, as it is basically the sorcerer of the group. With a 17 dex and a 22 intelligence requirement, giving 1 black physical, 1 blue magical, a dodge, and 2 upgrade slots. Then we have the Deacon Robes, with a 24 faith requirement, with 1 black physical, 2 black magical, a dodge, and 1 upgrade. Then we have the Drang Armor, with an 18 strength and a 14 dex requirement. Relatively low requirements, actually. Giving a blue physical, and 1 dodge, and one upgrade slot. Next, we have the Exile's Armor, which for a 26 strength and a 16 faith gives 2 blue defense dice and 2 upgrade slots. Then the Firelink Armor for 20 strength and 15 int has a blue physical and defense and magic die with 2 upgrade slots. Next up, we have the Heavy Leather Armor with a 26 in strength, dexterity, and intelligence, giving a single black die in both physical and magical defense, 2 dodge, and 1 upgrade slot. If you can get to those stats, that's very nice. Then we have the Paper-Thin Armor of the Master's Attire with a 30 dexterity requirement and an 18 intelligence, giving pretty much just 2 dodge with the 2 upgrade slots. Then onto the Sunless Armor with a 13 strength and faith requirement for 1 blue physical die and 1 black magical die, and with 2 armor upgrade slots. Then the Sunset Armor with a 20 strength requirement and a 24 faith requirement, making it pretty hard for most to use this till later on. It has 2 black physical, 1 black magical, 1 dodge, and 2 armor upgrade slots. Then the Worker's Armor, with a 12 across the board in requirements, giving 1 black die for both physical and magical defenses, and 1 dodge and 2 armor upgrades. Now for the other half of the defensive items, we have the 6 shields. Starting with the Dragon Crest shield, it requires a strength 21 and faith 21 for a blue die in both physical and magical defense. Then the East-West shield with only a 28 intelligence requirement, giving a +1 black die, a 1 for physical, 1 blue die for magical, and a dodge. This is a very nice piece of gear, honestly. Then in a 28 dex for the Eastern Iron Shield, we have 1 blue die physical and just the 1 dodge. Then we have the Effigy Shield, which requires 10 strength, 10 faith. You can equip this in 1 hand while having a 2-hander in your other hand. So very nice, basically free bonus on top of a 2-hand weapon, and especially with the very low stat requirements that the Herald can wield immediately for 1 black physical and 1 black magical defense. Then we have the Pierce Shield with a 16 strength and a 10 dexterity. It has an attack with 2 stamina for 2 black dice, and also provides the 1 black die defense and 1 upgrade slot. And last, we have the Silver Edge Kite Shield with only a strength requirement of 15 with a blue blue defense die as its only benefit. Now we move on to the upgrade items, which there are 13 of, one of which is the only ring from the base treasure deck, which is the Chloranthy Ring. With an 18 requirement across the board, characters in your node gain 3 stamina at the start of their activation instead of 2. Then we go on to Shards and Gems being the rest of this. There are 4 gems in here, including the Blessed Gem, that are add +1 black die to your attack for 25 in one of the stats, the Blessed Gem being the Faith one. Now we have the Blood Gem, which is gain bleeding on your attack for 15 strength. Then the Crystal Gem is the int version of the Blessed Gem, and giving the +1 black die for 25 int. Then comes the Strength version, the Heavy Gem at 25 strength for +1 black die. The Lightning Gem makes your weapons magical for 15 dexterity. Then we have the Poison Gem. This weapon gains poison attack and requires a 15 dexterity. And the Sharp Gem, being the last one of the 25 base stat, dexterity in this case, you again gaining +1 black die. Then there is the Simple Gem, which requires a 15 faith and reduces the cost of this weapon's highest stamina attack by 1. Then the last 4 are all Titanite shards, 0 requirement, and this weapon's attack gain +1 damage. Last up, we have the Ember, or I should say, Embers, as there are 4 of them. The Ember card is simply gain the Ember token and discard this card. It's not an item to actually use, it's just somebody in your group gains the Ember, which is basically, after taking a certain amount of damage, reduce that by 1 if it's in a single attack. Keep it if you rest at the bonfire, lose it if somebody dies.
Alright everyone, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that was helpful. If it was, feel free to press that like button. And if you know if it will be helpful or liked by somebody else, try to share, go ahead and share it with them. Also, if you didn't like it, go ahead and press that dislike button. But try to leave a constructive comment in the process, and if you want to comment in general, go for it! And if you want to see more component overview videos for this game and other upcoming games, my Let's Play videos, or my painting, or unboxing videos, feel free to subscribe. Regardless, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.